Hello everybody, welcome back to Ken's Den. Been a while since, adjust the camera here, been a while since I did a video actually, so I thought we would check in with an update of steelbooks mainly. Decided to do things slightly differently this time. Normally I do a separate steelbook for PS4 and Blu-ray movies, but I thought because I've actually let things slide on the Steelbook front. I've been so engrossed with Destiny 2 that I haven't been searching quite as hard as I normally do for Steelbooks. So I'm going to combine the game Steelbooks with the movie Steelbooks and a couple of other comic related items that are of interest that I've picked up as well, so we'll squeeze it all into one video. Okay, now although the quantity is not as high as it normally is, there's a couple of interesting items that I managed to pick up on the gaming side, and I'll expand on those when I come to them. Maybe a couple of little tips I can give you also for collecting steelbooks. Okay, well, this is the first one. I just got this I think a couple of days ago. That's the Battleborn. Now, just to prove that you don't know everything, or at least I don't know everything, I didn't know that there was a UK edition of this. Now, I got this from eBay, and the seller tells me that it quite definitely is a UK. It shows me that it is a UK edition. How I've missed this one, I don't know, because I actually bought this game shortly after it came out and played it a bit. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me, I've got a cold, so if I'm coughing and sniffing, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know where this one comes from, whose exclusive it is. If it isn't exclusive, I'll have to do a bit more research into it. Like I say, I've only had it a day or two, but yeah, there we are. The Battleborn. It's quite a nice steelbook. Actually, the back's even nicer than the front, but at least it's made some attempt to be a proper steelbook, i.e. Back and front art, which pleases me greatly, and it's even got it's even got the DLC, which will have been used, but I'm not too bothered about that. I'm more interested in having obtained the steelbook. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that one. This is another one I just got a few days ago. Hasn't even been opened yet. It's Tower of Guns. I thought originally this was a PSN only game, a download only, but I've seen it out and about in sort of like places like Game and Keck second hand, but I've never really seen one in decent condition, and that one was brand new, sealed for just a tenner. So I thought we'd go for a decent copy. Right, now this is the other interesting one. Naruto Ninja Storm Legacy. Now this actually comes from a collector's edition, and it was quite expensive when it came out. I don't know if you can get it any cheaper now. I've never really bothered to look for it, but I was aware of the steelbook, but I thought, well, it's one that I'll have to pass for the time being, because I'm not paying 80, 90, however much it was when it came out. Yeah, I mean, this just shows you if like me, as I said to you before, with steelbooks now, because I don't play a lot of games, I'm only interested in the steelbook. If it hasn't got the game in, it doesn't bother me, because a lot of people will argue that, if you're going to collect steelbooks, at least collect, complete ones. But as I say, since PS4 came along, and the price of the collector's editions, where a lot of these steelbooks come from, has risen greatly. I mean, you know, collector's editions used to be 40 or 50 quid on the PS3. You're looking, you know, twice that now. That's why I stopped buying collector's editions. So to get this for, I don't know, it was only about 12 quid. As I say, it comes from a very expensive edition. Yeah, the back's not so clever, but there you go. So even though, I mean, it's actually, you can see this comes from a collector's edition because it's got space for 3 discs. There would have been a soundtrack and making of maybe, I don't know. I've never really had a look at the collector's edition, but there you go. I mean, as I say, I'm only interested in the steelbook. The fact the game's not there doesn't bother me at all. But you know, that's a case of where if you're prepared just to take the steelbook and you keep trekking eBay, you can come across some real bargains. And as far as I'm concerned, that was, because I say there was no way I was paying full whack for it. It's a game that I would never even open, let alone play. Right, so yeah, here's an example of patience. You know, I think I've banged on about it a bit before. How, you know, you can be patient if you don't want to play a game and you're into steelbooks. You don't particularly want to play the game for the particular. I mean, I've been hunting this one down for a while because it's a nice steelbook, but wasn't prepared to pay the 40 quid or the 45 quid it was when it came out. It wasn't. I don't think it was that much more expensive than the actual game. You know, the vanilla version. But this is a case. You know, just a little tip for you: if you don't want to play the game, just be patient. Wait, because I picked this up. It's in near mint condition. In fact, apart from this little very slight crease on the corner there, which you know, you could probably knock out. It's mint. You know, it's absolutely mint. So that was 12 quid. So you know, there's a big difference between paying 45 and 12. Like I say, it's in absolutely spot on condition. There's the steelbook, which I rather like. Sadly, we haven't taken too much trouble with the back. I mean, it's all there. I mean, I bought this in Kex, the games there. Not that I ever play Final Fantasy games, but you know, for 12 quid, you've got the complete package in mint condition. So, as I say, be patient. Just wait. Now, I forgot about this one actually until I spotted it in Kex a couple of weeks ago. This is a prime example of what I love about steelbooks and what I hate about steelbooks. I mean, I know you'll have heard me banging on about this before, but it is something that really gets on my wick, quite frankly. It drives me wild. I'll just take the little cover off now. Now, for me, that is a beautiful steelbook. I love that. It's probably one of the best gaming steelbooks I've seen for a long, long time. There's just something about the aesthetic of it. You know, I should mention, in case you didn't pick it up before, that it's the Marvel v Capcom Infinite Fighting game for PS4. Now, I mean, that is just cracking to me. I absolutely love that. So I was delighted when I saw that, and then I turned it over. Ta-da! I'm just absolutely speechless. What is that all about? You know, by and large, steelbooks are normally a little bit more expensive than normal copies of the game, unless they're a pre-order bonus. But by and large, you know, they're the 5 or 10 extra. Now, to me, that's an insult, quite frankly, to me as a collector, that they can't be bothered to make an effort to get something decent on the back. It just annoys me, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, it doesn't detract from the fact that it's a cork and steelbook. But you know, if somebody had just made the effort, there is ironically, there is a nice piece of artwork inside, and the game's all there. And I mean, you know, the whole thing's in mint condition. I think it was about 18 quid. All of the DLC vouchers are there, which, as I say, will have been used, but that's not going to bother me. But yeah, so you know, that's the sort of thing that drives me around the bend. But it is a lovely steelbook, and I'm quite happy to have the whole thing for 18 quid. Okay, now this one came with a collector's edition. It's a strange one, this, because it came with the collector's edition. I mean, it's very similar to the jacket, but there are actually two versions of the steelbook. Now, this is the one that comes out of the collector's edition, which I don't know, it was about 120 quid when it came out. You know, as much as I like car games, no way am I paying that. Bearing in mind, I wasn't that impressed with the first game, Project Cars. There's another edition actually that is just a limited edition. It comes in that slipcase, but it's got a darker. It's exactly the same as that, except it's darker. So at some point, when the price comes down, I'll have to be chasing that one. But as I say, it's identical to that, except it's blacker. Which, you know, I don't know why they would bother to do that, but I suppose so they could skin everybody by putting a steelbook in with the collector's edition and making everybody pay for something if they wanted, you know, to collect like me, you know, collect all steelbooks. But anyway, that was 50 quid on Amazon. You get a nice little car with it and an art book and blah blah. Nothing worth 120 quid, quite frankly. But there you go, for 50 quid. I mean, that's the price of the game. So I wasn't really bothered. But there again, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? I can't follow that at all. Anyway, here's another one. This is the Wolfenstein 2. Now I showed you last time the steelbook that came with the collector's edition that had the figurine in it. You know, if you saw the last video I did, you might remember that. This is the one. I think it was pre-order, this one, so you got it if you pre-ordered the game. Surprise, surprise. And it's blank. The reason it's blank is because I got it for nothing. My friends in one of the game shops had it brought in with the game, and you know, they just sell the game. They don't bother putting it in the steelbook. So they said, Kenneth, you're a steelbook collector, would you like that? I said, yes please, thank you very much. So that was a freebie. Thanks again, guys at Game. But there again, another annoying one. Right, now I just picked this up fairly recently. That's the Ronaldo edition of FIFA 18. I assume originally it came without the game, because that hasn't got the game in. I don't think so anyway. Yes, it has. Yeah, so it's I couldn't remember whether I bought the full edition or not, but yeah, there's the Ronaldo edition. I used to play FIFA quite a lot, yeah. But not these days. But yeah, that wasn't very expensive. I can't remember how much, but it was I don't know, it might have been a tenner or just over. I can't remember, but it sounds like it's got the game in anyway. So I'll have to open it up at some point. This one hasn't, but it was peanuts. This one, 3 quid or something, you know, postpaid. Another eBay jobby. So you know, if you're quite happy to have the steelbook, you know, you can't grumble, can you, for 3 quid? It's not a bad looking steelbook, and surprise, surprise, you've got something on the back. Ooh, so that was that. This was one I got a while back, and I remember the title of this. This is the Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind, apparently. Something I wouldn't play. A boring old back. Could have had that on the back, I suppose, but it's not that exciting. There again, it's just another I mean these ones you see of mine that have got no game in, these probably came that way. A lot of the games come that way now if they're pre-order bonuses or whatever. They actually come separate from the game. I mean, I've bought a few games on PS4 that have been that way. Right, this is a bit of an oldie, this one, but that's the last year's or the year, no, it'd be the year before's PES 2017. This is what they call the stripping over my tongue, the Barcelona edition. If I can get the thing out, it's packed rather tight in there. Barcelona edition for obvious reasons. If you follow Spanish football, you'll recognise the shirts. There's a boring old back cover again, but at least it's got one. Yeah, so that's I bought that. I don't know, that comes with the game. So if I ever want to play PES 2017, which is highly unlikely, I have it. And finally, last but not least, another rather nice Steelbook which I picked up from Kex a couple of months ago. That's the Injustice 2 beat 'em up. Unlike the Marvel v Capcom Infinite, that's got nice art on the front and the back. Once again, it's a full edition, so it's got the game in it. Probably had some DLC on this side originally, but that didn't come with it. But I'm not worried about that. So yeah, there you go, Injustice 2. So that was about it for the games. That was more or less what I picked up in last month and the month before. Normally I would have, maybe a few more than that, but it's not a bad haul considering there's a couple of nice, sort of scarcer items in there. Right, so if we're coming back to Steelbooks now, we've got the films now. There's not been much happening with me on the film front lately, I must admit. I did pick that one up a couple of weeks ago. That's a Zavvi exclusive. Anyway, I realise I've got about 3 copies of this film for various reasons. One's a sort of little collector's edition. One's in a game, actually, strangely enough, and the other one's just a normal Blu-ray. But I haven't actually got this is the 4th copy I've got of the film, but it's the first Steelbook. I think it's the first. I don't think there was a Steelbook before this one. I haven't unsealed it yet, but yeah, it's not bad. Of course, it's the the old smiley button image that you normally get. This was a nice little pickup. It wasn't too expensive. These run out somewhere between 25 and 30 quid normally. I can't even quite remember. I just remember to take the stickers off. It wasn't that expensive at Kex, probably about half that, 12, 15, I can't remember. But yeah, I'm intending to get the full. I've got all the Doctor Who's on DVD actually, or the box sets that they brought out. But I'll be aiming to get a full set of these. I think we're only up to 3rd season so far, so I'll get the 1st season and then wait for the 3rd season to come down in price. So that was that one. Yeah, now those of you who are Star Wars fans have probably seen these about. These there was a set of 6 of these came out quite a few months ago now, and they've always been very expensive. They've never seemed to have dropped in price. Brand new, they'd have gone up in price. I mean, they were 20 quid originally, and I've seen places like HMV, Zavvi, selling $27.99 for some of these. That was about 12 quid, and it's all there. It's got the wraparound cover and everything, so it's in mint condition. So yeah, I was pleased to get that for 12 quid. All I've got to do now is find the other 5 for 12 quid. Might be a bit of a problem. Now talking about Star Wars, that was the Zavvi exclusive of The Last Jedi film. I think this went out of stock for a while. I think it might be back in now. Zavvi seem to do this. They seem to say, we're out of stock, and then miraculously find a load. Well, I think a lot of time it's these scalpers on eBay buying loads of them up and not being able to sell them, and of course they cancel the pre-orders, and then Xavi end up with a few copies on their hands. But yeah, so I pre-ordered that because it was out. It did go out of print, and I pre-ordered it before that. So I've no doubt it will go out of print again, being Star Wars. And the last of the Steelbooks was the Transformers The Last Night. And that again was quite cheap compared with what some places are charging for it new. I think it's about 12 quid. And, typically it'll be about 25 if you buy it from one of the online retailers. Not the greatest of films, but they're quite... If you take the trouble to go out to the cinema, I've mentioned before, I always go and see this sort of thing in IMAX. We're lucky enough to have an IMAX cinema just an hour's sort of like bus ride away from where I live. So yeah, I went to see that, and it wasn't great, but in IMAX it looked pretty good, and that's the film of it. By the way, might be worth mentioning. I did I did a little video on the PS4 VR headset a while back, and this is one good reason for me buying these Blu-ray ones now with 3D on, because I can actually watch them on the headset. And if any of you are wondering, you haven't seen that video I did, and you're wondering what these look like on the headset, they're actually quite impressive. Saves you forking out for a 3D telly at least. So yeah, there's something to remember. There was a couple of other Blu-ray films that I bought. You'll have seen. Some of you will have seen the lenticular cover video that I did a way back. I'm still collecting those. I've got quite a lot of them now. I don't need that many. That was one I didn't have, the Minions, which was actually given to me by my daughter. She got it dirt cheap and said, "You can have that, Dad." I said, "Thanks very much." And that was one I bought for about 8 quid. I mean, they're still charging about 20 quid for it, ain't you, MV? So you can see the effect there. Not the greatest of films, but not the worst either. So yeah, that was it for the lentic covers. Then just another couple of little jobbies I'll show you here just while I'm on. Some of you remember I did a video on the shadow pulp facsimiles, the shadow pulps from the 1930s, 40s. I'm very well into these, and I'm getting towards a full set now. I've got about 90 of the 130 that are out, so I'm getting there. The only reason I show you this is because it's the latest edition, and I've actually found a UK supplier who are doing them quite cheap, so I'm happy about that. So it means all I've got to do now is worry about getting the back issues. So that was that. Just a couple of little interesting items here. Any of you that are into comics will realise that Action Comics hit number 1,000, which is quite a feat, I would say, for any comic book. That is one of the variants of Action number 1,000. That is the 1960s variant. They did a variant for each year. That's the 1960s variant, which is the period that I remember these covers being so great. So I picked that one up. That wasn't too expensive, about 3 quid odd, and then this one still got the price on it. That was a bit more expensive because it's it's a scarcer version. It's a scarcer variant version, and it didn't have as many printed. So I thought that was a very, very nice cover. So I thought, yep, tenner, we'll have some of that. So that was just a couple of little comics we picked up, and just last but not least, just a couple of comic related items. With the Avengers Infinity War film that just come out, there's been a lot of interest in Thanos. As I've said before in the videos that I've done, he's one of my favourite comic characters. Not even one of my favourite villains. He's just one of my favourite characters, full stop. That is I've shown you the Infinity hardback that collected all of the Infinity comics that came out a couple of years ago. This is the actual companion to it, and these were all like the the issues that spun off from that. I managed to get the original Infinity for about 13 quid odd, which was amazing because these retail for about 80 quid each. You can see, you know, the thickness of them. And this one I paid a bit more for. This was around about the 35 quid mark. Even so, you know, 80 quid. But there's been a lot of interest in the Thanos hardbacks since the film came out, so I thought better get it now than have to pay a bit more for it later. And then this is, last but not least, this is the, get it right way around, this is the Identity Crisis. Now this was Identity Crisis. This was a Marvel, sorry, a DC event from about 2009, around about. It's about 10 years old anyway, thereabouts. And this is a great story actually. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it, would like to read it, but basically it's about superheroes who get their identities discovered and put out there, and you know, obviously it would cause a lot of hassle to them and their families, and it wasn't a typical, you know, superhero beat 'em up, you know, every panel somebody smacking somebody's head off or something. It was more of a whodunit type of story. It ran for about 7 issues, and it was very nice. And this is the sort of like deluxe edition of it. I mean, originally, as you can see there, it was 75 quid. Now this is I got this from Forbidden Planet. This is very, get around the right way, very slightly faded because it has been in a cabinet with some lights in it, and but unless you stood it next door to another copy, you wouldn't know it was faded, because you know it just looks okay to me. But yeah, there was another copy there, and I held the two together, and it was slightly faded. But bearing in mind that the normal copy was 40 quid, and this was only 25, so actually a third. It was brand new when I bought it, but I've opened it to read it because I wanted to read it again. But yeah, that was a third of the retail price. I wasn't complaining at all. So guys, that's the haul for the last couple of months. As I say, not great in quantity, but quite a bit of quality there. Next up, not too long I hope, I'll try and make the gap not quite as quick. As long as between this and the last one. Next up, I'll do another one of those top 10 best of things that I started a few months back. I haven't decided which one it'll be, but yeah, I'll be back with that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks everybody for continuing to subscribe and continuing to watch old movies that I do, and more current ones. I'm grateful to all of you, and as long as you're watching, I'll continue to do them. Thank you very much, and goodbye.